welcome back. We are on episode 2. I got the courage to make a second video. But that's because you guys, like, thank you so much for all the support and like liking and commenting and watching the video. I really appreciate it. You guys are the absolute greatest in the entire universe. I decorated the bookshelf because I was editing in my first video. And I was like, oh my god, that thing looks so boring and so plain. So I decorated it. So it's nice and cute a little bit now. But there's that. So yeah, let's just dive right in there today. So today I am going to talk about budgeting and realistic budgeting. Because it's really easy to make a budget and it's really easy to ignore your budget. So I want to kind of get into realistically budgeting and kind of make it to where you can still be happy and still live life and still maintain saving and working towards your goal. There are so many ways to budget. You can budget monthly, you can budget weekly, daily if you're really getting really technical like that. I do 2 budgets though. I budget on a monthly basis and then I budget on a weekly basis, just because if you remember in the last video I mentioned that Zach and I get paid every week. So I actually make I have a master budget that I kind of look at like once a month, and I'm like, okay, here's kind of what our projected pays are going to be, here's what all our bills are for the month. And then each week I kind of get a little bit more technical, like, okay, how much of this paycheck is going towards next month bills? How much are we going to spend on groceries this week? Do we have anything planned this week that we might need more money than we would before? Things like that. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit deeper into that and how to work with that. When you are budgeting, again, you write down all your ins, all your outs, super standard, just like the last video. That's going to be your starting point for everything. What I do is once we get paid, hits the account, I'm like, how much is in our account? Like, yeah, this is how much we got paid, but how much is still pending from being paid that needs to come out? Or how much did we not spend last week that I projected we were going to spend last week? So you have a little bit extra going into that new week. So I start and say, this is how much is in our account. Like, this is how much we need to move. Like, I need to move that into a savings account for bills next month, or we're saving for a trip. I need to move a little bit of that into the other savings account so that I know we are working towards that. And then everything left over, it's like, how much is groceries? How much are we going to spend this week? Gas. Zach gets gas more than I do, so is this a week that we both need to get gas, or just one of us needs to get gas? Are we lucky and none of us need to get gas this week? Is there anything we have planned, like potlucks, birthday parties, barbecues, going out with friends? Like, if there's any of that, I budget for it, because I'm like, I want us to be able to do this. I want us to be able to enjoy ourselves. I pay bills twice a month. I pay them at first week of the month and like the third week of the month, and that's just how I pay bills. It's easier for me. You guys already know I hate auto pay, so I'm not doing anything on auto pay anyway. So week 1, week 3, heavy bills, pulling everything out, going straight to bills. Week 2 and week 4 is a little bit more flexible, so that's where we might go and do things with friends or birthday parties, barbecues, things like that. So I budget for that. If Zach is like, hey, so-and-so invited us to dinner on Friday next week, perfect. As soon as we get paid, I'm pulling $100 out to the side, and that's what we're going to use to go have dinner with our friends. Or, hey, so-and-so has a birthday party coming up. We just went to a birthday party last week. And I'm like, okay, we need to get a gift. Zach was like, hey, reached out to some people, his friends, and we're like, hey, do you guys want to do a group gift? If so, like, let's split it. Awesome. My mind, I'd rather plan for the worst, be pleasantly surprised, and you're like, hey, look at that, we have more money than we thought, that's so great, instead of being like, oh yeah, so-and-so said they'd pay us and they never do, and I'm like, oh, that was unexpected. Cool, let me figure that out now. No. So I'm like, birthday gift was this much. This is how much I allotted for that particular gift. I'm like, this is how much we have for it. When people paid us, I was like, this is awesome. Now we have more. Cool. So I'm like a worst case scenario person. I will absolutely plan for the worst to be pleasantly surprised later. That's why I budget on a weekly basis. So I will go in and say, hey, so-and-so has a birthday party next week. Pull that out for the birthday gift. Do we need to bring something like drinks and stuff? Pull that aside. Harvey, our dog, in grooming. He gets groomed every other month. Okay, is this a week that he needs to get groomed? Make sure to pull that aside. I budget groceries 100%. Because I'm like, hey, I know that we pay like $100 a week for HelloFresh. It's easier for us. Works out great for us. So I'm like, okay, the things that HelloFresh doesn't cover, like breakfast and things, $30 a week is going to go to buying additional groceries for breakfast or like an additional lunch, things like that. Other things like keeping bread, milk, eggs, all that good stuff, the basics. So I plan for that. So I'm like, okay, food's taken care of, gas is taken care of, plans are taken care of, awesome. And then I will usually leave $100 left over that I keep into our account just for little things like, hey, did you want to grab lunch unexpectedly with a friend? Is Zach having lunch with coworkers today? And then just like, hey, if there's little extra stuff, like, do you want to go and pick up something from Walmart really quick that we needed unexpectedly? Or, hey, I'm at the grocery store and I need laundry detergent this week, where it's not an everyday type of purchase. There is that little bit extra just in case. And again, I like having a buffer. I like having the just in case. Another thing with kind of budgeting are must-haves. And this is where people disagree with me, and that's fine. And this is kind of where I get a little bit different than everybody else with their budgeting. But I budget must-haves. I think it's super important. If getting your nails done every other week is a must-have, make it a bill. Make that a bill. If going to the bar with your coworkers after work every payday is a must-have, make it a bill. If that is your self-care, if that is your de-stressor, make that a bill. Take care of yourself. Put that money aside so you have it, so you're not stressing about doing it or stressing that you don't have the money for it. If it is a must-have, make it a bill. We have must-haves. I do Stitch Fix every other month. It's nice. I get nice clothes. Sometimes I buy everything, sometimes I don't. But every other month I'm like, hey, my Stitch Fix is coming in. And that's something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy having that. Like Zach, on his weekends, he buys like a 12-pack of beer. And he's like, this is what I want. This is how I de-stress from my week at work. Awesome. Budgeted for it. You are ready to go. Enjoy yourself. So if it is a must-have, you absolutely cannot give it up. Or it is something that makes you feel better. Or something you just really enjoy. Make it a bill so you don't have to worry about the money later. Unpopular opinion, that's so fine. At the end of the day, you're not struggling to like balance happiness and money, because that shouldn't be a thing. You should just be happy with money all the time instead of freaking out about money all the time. But that is the thing. So must-haves, make them bills, enjoy yourself. 100%. Next thing that we can talk about is definitely like actually making a budget. Really easy to make a budget. It's really, again, first video I was like, write everything down. Figure out where your money's going. What are all your bills look like? That's basically building a budget at the beginning stage. Like you're writing everything down, seeing how much money you have, seeing how much you have left over. I'm basing everything off a weekly budget. It's a lot easier. My ends, write everything down, like $40 to gas, $100 to groceries, $50 for a birthday gift. Like just kind of going through, writing everything down, sticking to it. $100 for groceries. If I budget $100 for groceries, I'm not going over $100 for groceries. I rock Fry's. We shop at Fry's. On their app, you can make a shopping list. It estimates the cost for you. You have the coupons. You have the weekly ads. So if I've said $100 is going to groceries, $100 or less is going to groceries. Now if I get out and I'm checking out and I ended up only spending $75, life is great. I got an extra $25 I can put to something else. Sticking to your budget, which is why we're talking about the must-haves, because at that point you're like, I already planned for brunch with the girls. I already planned to get my nails done. I've already planned for this birthday party. So all that extra, there's no reason for you to veer from your budget because you've already budgeted for all your extra stuff, your must-haves, your fun. You've already budgeted for it. So there's no reason for you to snatch back into your account and say, oh, I need more. No, you already allotted for them more. You already budgeted your bills. You already budgeted your food, your gas. There's no reason to veer from it at that point because you took all the extra and made them a bill and already budgeted for it. So anything extra, you're like, hey, I have 200 extra. I have 50 extra. I have $10 extra. However extra you have each week, throw that into a savings account or throw that towards your trip that you're planning or put that into investing if you're one of those people that are rocking this investment life, whatever it may be. Then you have that extra that can go to your financial goals. So stick to the budget, make the must-haves, plan your fun. I know that sounded awful, like plan your fun, but it makes it easier to keep your budget because then at that point you're not like, oh wait, it's Thursday and I budgeted last Friday or I budgeted on Monday, now it's Thursday, and now I want to go on a date night to Dave & Buster's and spend $100. If I had planned that on Monday, I would have pulled the money out already and I wouldn't have been freaking out now because I don't have the money on Thursday to have my date night. Plan your fun, guys. It's actually a lot easier than I make it sound. Yeah. But that is, I think, basically all about budgeting that I kind of have. Again, budgeting's really simple when you really break it down. It's not that hard to make it. It's not that hard to stick with it. If you actually plan realistically, it's easy and it's super simple. And I know all you guys are really good at it. Knock it out of the park. But yeah, so thanks for coming to episode number 2, talking about budgeting. Again, thank you so much for all the support and just everything for my first video. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.